Back as a new teacher, when I didn't have silk screens and couldn't afford much, I used embroidery rings. So in your kit, you're going to need your embroidery ring, the little knee highs. If I provided it for you, if you said that you had pantyhose, then you're going to find the pantyhose that you are going to use and destroy. My advanced students, your embroidery ring is much bigger. And you're going to need your negative space sketch, Sharpie and or pencil, and scissors. So first, what we're going to do is I'm going to unscrew this embroidery ring a little bit so that I can take the inside ring out. So keep the ring with the screw on it right here, and then this ring is going to go inside the knee high. Mine is actually old pantyhose. Make sure if you're using the old pantyhose, you're not using the top where it's really thick. That might be too thick. What you're going to want is the thin part. So for me, since I have a really long pantyhose leg here, I'm going to dig my hand in there and open it up. And this is where I want to slide this ring inside. These rings are nice and small, 6 inches. So you should be able to put that inside ring, the one that does not have the screw on it. This one has no, it's just a smooth ring, all the way in there. I'm going to pull that out just a little bit, like that. Now, from here, I'm going to place this back inside the ring and tighten that up. Now, your knee highs are a little bit bigger. These pantyhose must be like super extra small. Maybe it was one of my daughters. So the first thing I'm going to do is, because I have pantyhose, I'm just cutting this off. You may not need to do this. These scissors are terrible. Let me get some better scissors. Okay, now I have my layer on one side and my layer on the other side. I don't need 2 layers of pantyhose. So I'm going to go inside here and cut around the ring, a little bit close to the ring, but not so close. I don't want that to fall out. So let me make that a little bit tighter. Do not let the pantyhose slip out. And pull that through a little bit. See how I just pulled that up a little bit so that it's not falling through? And then let me continue to cut. So I'm going to cut on the inside. Now hopefully your knee highs are big enough that this part that I'm cutting off, I want you to use later for your good design. This silk screen we're making now is a test print. We're going to make a test screen, and then later you'll use the rest of your knee high, or in my case, I have more pantyhose for this. Now the advanced students, however, because your ring is larger, you're going to have to cut the knee high in half. So you could see here, I had the knee high. I just cut down the side. This is just for my advanced students. And open this up. And the way I did the larger one is to, again, lay the ring down. Let me zoom out a little bit. Lay the ring down, the part that does not have the metal. Put my knee high stretched across, and then this over top. Again, this is for the advanced students. Once I get that in there, I'm going to screw this tight up here, and then I'm going to start to stretch it. And by stretching, I mean I'm pulling it through the sides like this. So the goal with any silk screen here, this is nice and tight. You want your screen to be really nice and tight, your fabric. So we're just using old nylons, pantyhose, knee highs, and try to stretch it as far around so my advanced students actually have a bigger screen. Now also, because you're using the entire knee high for your test piece, my advanced students have actual silk screen that you're going to use for your good one later. So this is in your kits to my advanced students. But everyone else, you should be able to get a second piece for your good one on the smaller one. So again, I'm just going to keep pulling this. Depending on the design you do, you don't really have to have the screen go all the way off the edge. If you can, that's great. If not, this to me is good enough for my advanced students. But for the rest of us, you have your screen here. In fact, I'm going to cut off. It doesn't, you really don't want it to be that tight, but you also don't want like all these big pieces hanging off because you don't later want to get ink on that. Okay, so now I have my negative space drawing that we did the first week of school. And again, this we're just using as a test print. I'm going to lay this on top. I just don't want to get Sharpie on my workspace here, so I'm just going to put some paper below. And so this here, if you look, this is the side that has the screen nice and flush. This is the side where it kind of dips in. So while I'm drawing it, I want it to kind of dip in so that my screen is nice and flat against the paper. If I did it this way, you can kind of see, you don't want to press it like that. You want it to be the flat side. So again, I'm going to flush so that it's touching my design. Now I'm going to try first to use my pencil. I'm not sure if this will work, but I'm going to trace around, let me see, my black lines. Let me just see. Now I can see that a little bit. Maybe you can't. So just for demo purposes, I'm going to use the Sharpie marker. It's up to you. If you can see the pencil lines, use a pencil. I'm going to use a Sharpie, and I'm going to basically redraw the negative space. Hopefully my pantyhose are not moving too much. Whoops. And again, if I mess up, let's say I do that, that's okay. It's not going to affect my silkscreen. It's just, this is just telling me where later I need to paint. And I'm going to show you that in the next video. So, I don't know if you can hear Cayenne in the background. She's whimpering. I think she's having a dream. She's dreaming over there because she's laying on my couch. She knows that I'm drawing her negative space. So remember, I'm tracing all the areas that on my original drawing were white. So I'm tracing all of this. And I may go ahead and color it a little bit just to prevent confusion. Okay, so if I mess up or I go in the lines a little bit, that's okay, because this marker is not going to affect anything, and I'm going to extend my design all the way to the outer ring. So I actually didn't even need to draw this outline. I'm just going to sort of color all that. So let me move that so you can see. There's my outline, but I'm going to go ahead back in there and just kind of color in the negative space. If it's easier for you to do this with your sketch underneath, go ahead. So maybe it is a good idea to put paper underneath because my Sharpie is bleeding through the pantyhose. And again, this part I'm not so concerned with. I'm just going to kind of scribble to fill in all the areas. This is just telling me that is all my negative space. And I think I put that so you can see better there. All right, so let's get that much done today.